Good morning. My name is Chris Fox, and today we're talking about why you as an author may love World Anvil. World Anvil is a world creation and management tool, so it's designed to hold world building elements. This is especially useful for fantasy and science fiction authors. If you've got a lot of complex world building, this is a great place to put it. But even if you're writing, thrillers or historical fiction or romance, whatever you're working on, World Anvil gives you a repository to keep that information. So you guys have seen in previous videos that I created the Magitech Chronicles website to serve as a repository for lore and artwork and characters, and it worked pretty well. But as you'll see in the next phase of the video, World Anvil just does it better, and it does it easier, and it has more functionality, and it makes it really easy for me to kind of sit down and go down a rabbit hole and make an extra character or make an extra location or, decide, ooh, wouldn't that be a cool custom to create? And I understand that not every author is into world building. It's not something that, that everybody loves, but a lot of us do. A lot of us absolutely love world building. And if you do, World Anvil is amazing. You'll see in the second half of the video some of the functionality, but not as much as I want to show. So if it is interesting, if it is useful, if you find yourself liking World Anvil, comment on that. And then in the comments, let me know, and I can do more of this stuff in the future, because I can tell you I'm going to be spending a lot of time in World Anvil. Anyway, guys, let's jump into the second segment and you can see what it looks like. Okay, we are looking at the same page that a user would see if they show up on your world at World Anvil. Because I'm logged in, I have that nice little blue bar at the top. They wouldn't necessarily see that, but I'm going to stay logged in just so I have access to all the features. Anyway, so imagine that without the blue bar. This is kind of what they see when they get to your world. So you get a nice clean interface. You can play with this infinitely. There are a number of themes and options that you can mess around with, and it's super intuitive to just check and see what they are. I mean, you can swap this over to something else. Like if we wanted to see Galaxy Anvil, sounds pretty cool. I could change it. I don't like this font, so I'd probably go into styles and modify that. But you could very quickly change to fit whatever theme that you're going for. So where was I? What did I start on? Notebook? Yeah, I think I was at Notebook. Perhaps not. Let's mess around with it a little bit. What's your world darkly? Ooh, kind of like that. Don't like the font as much, but I sort of like the coloring. I'll try a couple more, and then we'll actually talk about the platform itself. Yeah, kind of some neat stuff. So anyway, I went back to Notebook for now, and I may change this again. In fact, I'm definitely going to change it again. All right, it took me a little bit of experimenting, but there you go. We look at the various themes, and I think stars is probably the best fit for me right now. I will change the font at some point, so this part here is not perfect. But I like the rest of it. It seems to fit the theme, and this is sort of what I want people to see when they show up on the site. Anyway, let's get into the feature set. So let's say I am a reader. I show up here because I've been linked to this, and I'm interested in this world. When I scroll down, you can see that there are timelines. You've got a table of contents which you can populate with anything that you want to add here. So world, history, magic and spells, that's all stuff that I've added and chosen how it fits together. So I'm building this part. And then down here, of course, it shows your followers. And thank you to the couple of people that have already found it. I hope that list will grow quickly. Anyway, you also have your recent articles area. And this is probably the most important part for people that are discovering and following your world, because they're going to want to see what is it you're working on. And how is this world growing and developing? And this is a quick, intuitive way for them to see, oh, these are the articles that have been created. And if they click on one of these, what they end up seeing is this beautiful, customizable page. You can put whatever artwork you happen to have at the top. I used, some of my Dragon Starship artwork that I have created and not yet used on a cover of a book. And it makes for a great header for this page. And then I just typed up the history of part of my universe and plugged it in here. And I wrote it from the perspective of one of the main characters in the book. And fans seem to like that. You can do a lot more with it. So if we look at the fantasy version I've put together, I have a Shattered Gods universe, which you'll get more details about probably next year. But this is where I'm gathering the information for that as well. And one of the things that I populated here that I have not yet done on the Magitech Chronicles site is the timeline. And the timeline feature is amazing. It allows you to customize it. And so if you see, if I mouse over this, I'm not sure if it'll be big enough to read, but it tells me the type of event. So each symbol is a different type. So like, for example, this one is an expedition. This one is a founding. Let's go down to a disaster. Okay, so you've got your first major extinction, and the colors also mean things too. So the end of an era is going to be black. If it's not important, or if it's regional, kind of a minor importance, it's green. Yellow is more important, and red is, more global or national level stuff. And it allows you to link to these articles. So I could go to the specific article that talks about whatever that event is and get more details about it. So you sort of are creating almost a Wikipedia out of your world, but it's much more visually intuitive and just kind of looks cooler. So I'm doing it with each of the worlds that I've got put together. This is where I'm starting to migrate my world building, maps, artwork, you name it. I'm trying to get this all organized in a way that readers can find and contribute to. And one of my favorite features, and this may take a minute to load, is the map area, because you can have nested maps. So if I've got one big map of the world, I can then have a map for each of these planets, and if somebody's clicking on a planet, they get to go to whatever that sub-map is. And for a reader, this allows them to visually explore your universe. So if you have maps, oh boy, is World Anvil a great way to share that with your audience and to mess around with it. And from a creative standpoint, for you as a person building this stuff, all you have to do is click this little button down here, this green button, and you get the ability to create a brand new anything. Do I want a character? Do I want just a random document? Am I building a military unit, a location, a spell, a timeline? All of it can be accessed just from the screen. And so you just click on whatever it is you want to make. Let's say we're going to upload a new image, and it takes me straight to the image library. And you can start, uploading cover artwork, or if you've purchased other types of artwork, you can sort of store it here and then reference it throughout your site. And it's that simple to add pretty much anything. So I could, click from here again and go to some other area and add like a new category or a new timeline or whatever it is I'm interested in. So it's really easy to use. It does require at least a little bit of technical know-how, but not nearly as much as I've seen on other platforms. And I've experimented with a lot of them. There are some good ones out there, but this one definitely clicks. I've really enjoyed fleshing it out and adding a lot more information about my world to it, and I'm going to continue to do so. And it is just so neat to me that I can present the stuff that I'm working on and all my notes to people in a coherent way. And I really feel like this platform supports that. So I'll update you in the future. I'll let you guys know how it grows over time. We'll do an update in a month or two, and I'll show you if it really comes together, and you can see sort of how it flourishes. Because this is the beginning stages. I haven't really shared it with anybody yet. I mentioned it in the Magitech Chronicles Facebook group, and that's it. So, you guys are seeing this sort of for the first time, but we'll get to watch it grow together, and you can see if it's useful as I posit that it is. But you know what? Even if it's not, even if it doesn't result in increased sales or anything positive that I can measure, man, is it fun working with my world and building this stuff. If you are a science fiction or fantasy author, if you're a thriller author or a Western author or a romance author and you like tracking your stuff, this is where you can build a home and do it quickly and sort of see your world come to life. So definitely recommend it. It's worth checking out. Anyway, if you are a more experienced user of this platform, if you know World Anvil well, because I know quite a few people recommended this, please comment in the comments on this video, or shoot me an email at chris@chrisfoxwrites.com and tell me what I'm not doing yet and what I don't know about, and tell me about the advanced features of this platform. I'm just scratching the surface, it feels like, and there's probably so much more I don't even know about. So I would appreciate anything you can tell me about it. Anyway, guys, I do need to get back to the writing. Today is an exciting day. It is release day for Nefarious, Book 6 of the Magitech Chronicles. Very proud that I was able to get that out in time, and that it is a good book. I feel very strongly about that. And now it's on to the next project, which is Ads for Authors Who Hate Math. So that book and course are coming probably the 21st of April is my tentative release date. I know I've pushed that back a number of times, but it's worth it. I want to get this right. So both of those will be out in a few more weeks, and you can judge for yourself. And then it's back into fiction for me. Bert needs a sequel, and I have to finish up the Magitech Chronicles and write God's War Book 7, the final book in that series. So anyway, guys, I am going to get back to the writing, and I will see you next week.